James Cameron says he's ready to move on from Avatar even before the third film finishes its first weekend. What a winning strategy there, eh? It could be that James has had enough of Dances with Smurfs. Or perhaps it's time to move to new turf, as he's looking at a box office that could be quite diminished from the earlier films. Is it possible that Avatar the Third is a turd at the box office? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We're not telling you that Avatar, the Fire and Ash end of a trilogy, is going to perform like but it's going to perform like but at the box office. No, we would never say such a thing, folks. But it could perform less than James Cameron is interested in. And why? Because you never want to recede. You never want to decrease. And that could be the fate of Avatar Fire and Ash. Click the like button, folks. Let's dive in. Is this the last of Avatar? Well, what do we have here, folks? We've got a James Cameron that doesn't think that Avatar is going to do so well, maybe. That's at least what we're starting to wonder, because Marvin Montanaro has this out of that Park Place. Is James Cameron, never means shrimp, not in this context, leaving Avatar? Director again signals possible exit as Fire and Ash faces franchise crossroads. Here's what we know. James Cameron is once again openly questioning how much longer he wants to remain tethered to Avatar before leaving the franchise. And this time, the financial stakes surrounding Avatar Fire and Ash may finally force the issue. In a wide-ranging interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Cameron repeatedly frames Fire and Ash as a decisive moment, not just for the franchise's future, but for his own creative direction. While the film is tracking for a strong domestic opening by most industry standards, the numbers point toward an uncomfortable reality. Even a $100 million opening would likely place Fire and Ash on track to become the lowest-grossing Avatar to date. For a franchise built on unprecedented budgets and expectations, that distinction matters. Gentlemen, I don't know of many times when the big kahuna behind a film, and I think James Cameron is probably the biggest, most well-known name attached to Avatar. Sorry, Sigourney. I don't know of many times when that kind of person comes out before the release and says, I might be done with this. I don't know of many times when that goes well. So I'm starting to worry about Avatar's box office. Do you think that this is the tell? Do you think that James Cameron is kind of setting the stage so that he can walk away if it doesn't perform? Like, is this really it for him?
This was something that he was all gung-ho about for many, many years. And it's only recently, I think, that he's begun changing his tunes, which makes me wonder, what is it that he's seen or heard that is suddenly making him distance himself from his own auteur project? I don't know if it's box office forecasts or if it is test screenings or just, seeing what's happened to the box office in general. But he's obviously trying to put some distance between it, and I would guess also possibly pass the blame to somebody else. It wouldn't surprise me if he starts saying that there's been studio interference at some point.
Yeah, I'll tell you, things are not looking necessarily bad, but maybe not good. If you go to Deadline right now, Anthony D'Alessandro and Nancy Tartaglione, both with this one, Avatar Fire and Ash to set the world ablaze with $340 to $380 million box office opening. That sounds pretty darn good, right? I mean, that's amazing. That's fantastic numbers until you look at it a little more closely. It says, here it is, the final finale pretty much of the box office year with 20th Century Studios' James Cameron threequel Avatar Fire and Ash. It is expected to be the king of the world this frame with a worldwide first weekend of 340 to 380, which would be behind the global start of Avatar The Way of Water, which in like for likes did 444. Now let's just give us an easy number to play with, and let's say that it does 350. It's just about $100 million behind the last one, even as movie ticket prices have gone up. And I don't think James Cameron's the kind of guy who says, you know what? Let's eke out another one and see if it drops another 100 mil. I don't think that's what he wants to do. This is also a movie that seems to have almost no cultural impact domestically where he lives. It's largely driven globally. So maybe he's just saying to himself, I want to be known for stuff like Titanic and Terminator. I'm not going to be stuck in this world forever. Ron, your thoughts on it?
Well, it's the story. Like, you go watch Avatar. I have enjoyed both of the Avatar movies so far. in the theater, but I will tell you, the last one, I went to see it 3D IMAX, and I walked out of the theater, and I don't think I could have told you what the story was 5 minutes later. But the spectacle was amazing. It was like spending money for a ride. You know, it was much more like going on a 3-hour long theme park ride than it was watching a movie. As a matter of fact, there's an hour within the middle of Way of Water where there's literally no story being told. It's just scenery and playing around in the water. And that's fine for what these movies are, but without the cultural impact, they die out very quickly because, okay, we saw the first one was like the breakthrough CGI over a decade ago. The next one was, okay, how has it updated? Has it lived? Remember the first one actually created that ring of like 3D televisions that got sold. I know because I bought one of them. I had a 3D TV for a while, and then that kind of, it was like a fad. It played out. And there's the second movie, spectacle, great, but the story is like, it's lacking. And now you've got Fire and Ash, and from what I'm hearing, it's very much of a rehash of the last movie. It's very, very similar. So there's not a lot of, people get invested in characters. Like with Star Wars, Lauren knows this, Han, Luke, Leia, that dynamic between those characters, Darth Vader, great villain. You don't have a great villain in Avatar. You killed him off, brought him back. It was weird. It's very, very convoluted. And it's just, you watch it, and again, it's so much spectacle, and then you forget the story. And where else is he going to go after Fire and Ash? I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe his biggest problem is that his next world was going to be ice. And right now, domestically, the U.S. kind of doesn't like ice. So
not even, sorry, Vanilla Ice isn't even thinking about that anymore. Jonas, we're also sitting here in a situation, and I have not yet, at the time of this recording, I have not seen the film. I'm going to in short order. However, I can look right now at the top critics, and as we talked about in the past, I think there's a proclivity for the critics to do everything they can to support these kinds of films, because the industry actually is teetering at the edge. We've talked about this. We've warned people about this. We're here now. Theaters may not survive. And you're looking at the Netflix deal and Warner Brothers. Really, I mean, the critics who cover movies, it's now an existential crisis that they give everything they can to help these movies. And yet the top critics on Rotten Tomatoes, we don't yet have the score for criticlist.com, which we recommend. The top critic score is 55%, Jonas. That is splat territory, even if it's not showing that yet.
I don't know. I think critics going after this film, first of all, that to me says that there's probably not a lot of messaging in the film, because they would give it some kind of rousing applause for the messaging that's in the film. I wonder if these are critic proof, because everyone, at least in the United States, from a U.S. perspective, it's really easy to hate on Avatar because it was forever ago. It's Fern Gully, it's Pocahontas, all those things that everyone says about it, and it's a little light on story and big on spectacle. And if you liked it, there's not a lot to latch on to. It's one of those stories that's just spiritual enough that people have an easy time mocking it and not such an easy time defending it. So I don't know. The critic score, I think, won't matter, because the critics have never really loved Avatar outside of the box office and outside of the imagery.
But at this point, as we look at these jellyfish inflated haggis stomach flying ship things, at this point, does James Cameron want to be attached to a 55%? Because he's at that age where he wants the accolades. He wants to be, oh, you want me to go back to the jellyfish haggis ships?
No,
let's see if we can find him.
About James Cameron.
He's happy about it.
I wonder.
Oh, there's the butt of one of these things, Jonas. You're welcome.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. He did kind of do away with the USB port linking that has to be done. There was a lot less of that in the second film than there was in the first film. So the same way he mates with his wife is the same way he connects to his horse. That was weird. So.
Just everybody. Just so good.
Yeah.
Jonas, what have you had today? What are you on there?
I've watched over 6 hours of Avatar this week.
And can I tell you, okay, so one of the problems with me reviewing this film is the same problem that's going to perhaps hurt it at the box office, Jonas, which is I've got to go. This is a huge commitment for me. So I got to do a live show where we're going to do the review, right? Okay, so that's going to take time. But also I got to drive to the theater. I got to go through 30 minutes of previews. This thing is 3 hours long. Jonas, this is a 4-hour commitment.
Right.
And then, yeah.
Usually I'll go to a late show and I'll do that. But I started to put it in the schedule so my wife knows, don't expect me to be available. And I was going to go see it at 9:30 tonight. Well, then I added 3 hours. Well, no, it's not 3 hours. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes. And then the last movie I went to see had a full half hour of previews on it. So we're already at 3 hours and 45 minutes. So when I was looking at it, I would not be done with this movie until at least 1:15 in the morning, starting from a 9:30 showing of this film. So that is a lot of time. I'm actually thinking about bringing my laptop with me into the theater so that I can get some work done during this.
They'll totally allow that. Nobody's going to get angry at you for that one.
At my local, they don't care at my local theater. They're just happy.
They know you.
They don't. It's not that they know me. It's that they're struggling to get by. So the price of getting people to work in that theater that care about that theater is higher than they can then pay them. So,
oh, hello, Mr. Campbell. Right this way, Mr. Campbell. We've got your seat warmed up for you, Mr. Campbell. Would you like a moist towelette, Mr. Campbell? We've got that for you, sir.
Here's a free How to Train Your Dragon popcorn bucket. No popcorn though. That's $80 per handful.
We kept it in storage for you for the past 6 months, sir. We knew you wanted it. It's all yours, pal. Folks,
here's
James.
I think
Go ahead.
Cameron fine with these movies, and then he had to start doing press for number 3, and then all of a sudden it's I don't know if I want to do any more of these.
I'm supposed to be on the submarine trying to find another sunk ship somewhere or discovered a new species. That's James Cameron. All right, folks, we'll see what happens at the box office, but things not looking great for Avatar, and it's too late to save this year's box office. We'll talk about that next week, but probably 2025 going to come short of 2024. Comes down to this weekend, basically. We'll see how things play out. But 2024, they said, oh my, we can't do this again. And then they failed to even match it this year. Theaters truly in trouble. We'll be tracking it for you to let you know culturally where we'll be next year. The Hollyweirds don't understand how it is we do what we do, bringing you video after video every single day of the utmost highest excellence and quality. But folks, we do it because of you. We appreciate you. You are seen and heard here on the Pro Channel. Make your voices heard, folks, by doing one last thing before we say goodbye for a short time. Consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, and you know what? That notification bell, click it and stick it to the algorithms. Also, drop a comment down below and let us know your thoughts. And don't forget, folks, we've got even more content on the way. If you'd like to become a member, it's just the price of a soda per month, and you'll gain access to all kinds of exclusive content beyond what the public sees, including archival footage of the Pro Show that goes away after just a few days from its public release. Folks, we hope we get the honor of spending time with you again soon, and until then, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.